Once upon a time, in a small village of Otutu, there lived the family of Olore, who had just two children, a boy and a girl. The boy was named Olabode Olore, and the girl Morenikeji Olore. Morenikeji was given that name because her mother was the only child of her parents, so having her meant she had a child, sister, and friend in Morenikeji. Day by day, Morenikeji grew into a beautiful and very endowed lady. When you count the first 10 pretty ladies in the village, you would count Morenikeji. This beauty made Morenikeji to be sought after by many of the young men in the village, and whenever these men came seeking for Morenikeji, they all came bearing gifts. Morenikeji, my friend, who are you going to choose amongst all these young men? Oreoluwa, a friend, asked. Choose, Morenikeji replied. I don't think I will choose from these men. With my beauty, I am befitting to be the bride of a king, said Morenikeji. Oreoluwa, who was Morenikeji's friend, was a beautiful lady as well. They both have been friends since childhood, so they were best of friends who shared almost everything. Oreoluwa too was sought after by some of the young men in the village because, just like Morenikeji, she was also endowed and beautiful. As the months went by, Morenikeji failed to choose from any of the young men that were interested in her. Her reason was that they were too low class for her. Let me help you with that, said a young man to Morenikeji, who had gone to the market to get some foodstuffs one hot afternoon. Oh, thank you, Morenikeji, who was thankful, said to this young man as he helped her to carry the basket of foodstuffs to her house. The young man, whose name was Damilare, inquired if he could know Morenikeji better. Morenikeji wasn't interested, but because he helped her with a basket of foodstuffs, she did not want to be rude, so she told him a little about herself. As the clock ticked, Damilare kept coming to see Morenikeji, but she told him she could not date him because he was a poor man who had just come to their village to buy some freshly harvested crops. I appreciate the help you rendered the other day, but I am too beautiful to be with someone like you because, looking at you, you are poor and can't take care of me, Morenikeji told Damilare. Hurt by Morenikeji's words, Damilare stopped showing interest in her, and as the hours turned into days, Morenikeji realized that she saw less of him, but she was unbothered. One afternoon, a few months later, another young man came into the village. He came to collect the seal of agreement made with the village king. While touring the village, he saw Morenikeji and immediately liked her. He approached her, exchanged pleasantries, and within a few minutes, both of them were laughing like they had known each other for a long time. The next day, this young man was to go back to his village, so he went to say goodbye to Morenikeji. He told Morenikeji that he was a wealthy foodstuff seller in another village, and he came to broker an agreement to export goods from their village with a pay for the farmers. This meant he would always come around often, so he would always get to see her. True to his words, this young man, who was named Bankole, started coming regularly to purchase harvested crops. At every visit, He came with gifts for Morenikeji, and this captivated her that she soon fell in love with him. Bankole came a few more times, then proposed to Morenikeji, and in a small ceremony, they got married. As it is customary for a woman to move to her husband's house after marriage, Morenikeji proudly moved to Bankole's village to live with him and to start a new life. Morenikeji only enjoyed a few weeks of her marriage before she began to see that all was full and everything Bankole had said was a lie. Firstly, Bankole was not a wealthy man as he had told her he was. Secondly, he was not a foodstuff seller as he had told her he was. Instead, Bankole was a man who had nothing to his name. Everything he had told Morenikeji about himself was a lie, and all the gifts he bought for her were bought with the money he stole from his boss, who is a wealthy man. As Bankole spoke, Morenikeji was devastated. She asked why Bankole lied to her, and he told her he saw she loves material things and wouldn't have been with him if he had come as he was, so he had to camouflage to be who he wasn't. While all this was happening, Bankole suddenly ran out when his name was called in order to meet up with who had called out his name. He came back in to tell Morenikeji that the man he works for wants to meet with her in order to congratulate them, and he was with his wife who also wanted to congratulate them on their marriage. When Morenikeji came out, she saw Damilare and a friend Oreoluwa standing beside him as his wife. Morenikeji couldn't believe her eyes and was shocked at what she saw. This was the man who had chased her to date him. What was he now doing with a friend Oreoluwa? To make matters worse, Damilare was the man her husband Bankole works for. Now, here is what happened. When Morenikeji refused and insulted Damilare, he went back to his village and forgot about her. That same day, Morenikeji had told Oreoluwa about what had happened with Damilare. Ore rebuked Morenikeji and told her what she did was wrong. She warned Morenikeji about her pride and her beauty getting into her head, and this caused a very big fight between the two of them. This fight lasted for years, as Morenikeji was not willing to settle with Ore, even when Ore reached out to her several times to make peace with her. Ore was not privileged to meet Damilare when Morenikeji told her about him. So when Ore and Damilare's path crossed a few years later in another village, she could not recognize him, neither could he recognize her. Damilare and Oreoluwa's relationship flourished, and on Ore's wedding day in the village, Morenikeji refused to attend her wedding. Bankole was present, but had lied to her that he came to the village as usual for business. Unfortunately, when Morenikeji got married to Bankole, Oreoluwa was in another village far away with her elder sister who just had a baby, while Damilare was away on business in another village. Morenikeji had secretly always believed she was better than Oreoluwa, and had even believed Ore married a poor man when she heard of Ore's wedding. Now, standing in front of Damilare and Oreoluwa shocked, Morenikeji broke down in tears. Her pride and ego had made her end up with a deceitful man, and she felt intense regrets for her actions. She apologized to Damilare and Oreoluwa and respectfully told them she could not live in the same environment with them. With deep regrets, she packed her things and moved out. She went to her village to inform her folks that she could not continue her marriage with Bankole and moved to another village to start her life afresh. Now, this story is one of the timeless reminders that pride goes before it falls. It also reminds us to not think we are better than anyone, even if we have more than they do have. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's story. Kindly subscribe to our channel and please give this video a thumbs up to support us. Thank you once again.